What is up, everybody? I am here, and I got that exclusive interview with the motherfucking legendary Four Eyes. He is one of the best MCs of all time. His bars are effing insane. The punchlines, the metaphors, the double and triple entendres. I've been a fan for a real long time, so I was really pumped and psyched to do this interview. We talked about his life. We talked about rap and other music. We talked about the Tyre Nichols murder. I mean, we talked about it all. So make sure you watch it all.
And you know this, man.
At one point, you're going to hear us talk about the album that he has available on Bandcamp for just $1. And yes, I checked it out. I got it. It was just $1. And oh my God, it was epic. It blew my fucking head off. Alright, in order to start right away, if you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you on the team, and I'm always making new content. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. Hey, glad to see you. Glad to have you on the Honor Show. It is truly an honor to have Four Eyes on the Honor Show. It don't get no better than that. Yeah.
No, it don't. Good shit. Well, glad to be, glad you opened up the platform for me, bro. Appreciate you.
Hey, absolutely. Glad you came on the platform, man. And I just want to give a brief little intro to the fans watching. You're watching the Honor Show, and like I said, I got the one and only Four Eyes, one of the most prolific MCs, not just of our time, but if you ask me, of any time, period. Like, the motherfucker can rap. He's got metaphors, punchlines, the double, triple, quadruple entendres, where 3 months later, 2 years later, you'll be listening, you'll be like, damn, I just realized it meant this too. And it's just amazing, dude. I can't give you enough praise. You're just an amazing MC.
Hey, man, I appreciate you very much.
Hey, awesome.
It's just nice to know the folks out there listening, man. That's real shit, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I suppose we'll just jump right off. Tell me, how did you land on, just like with your rap name Four Eyes? How did you land on that being your rap name?
Shit, had to come up with something. At the time, I knew I wasn't finna wear contact lenses anymore. I hate digging in my eyes at like 3 in the morning when I'm high anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like just rock this glasses thing, man. And and I already had glasses since I was in like second grade, so it was just kind of just a natural, just kind of like a fat boys thing. How the fat boys knew they were fat,
Sure.
and they ran with it. So it was like, all right, I'm just gonna use what is potentially my biggest weakness and make it a strength. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Hey, man, it's pretty clever. That's cool. And I mean, I always liked it, and I thought that was a cool, clever rap name. And now that I know the story behind it, it's even better. So thank you for that. Did you grow up in Atlanta then? Is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Chicago, west suburbs, Oak Park,
Okay, that's right.
Oak Park, Illinois. Yep.
Well, I'm glad I asked. See, that's why I'm doing this interview, because then that way we find out for sure. No,
Right. Yeah.
what was the neighborhood like where you grew up?
Oh, it's a good neighborhood, man. I had a park almost like every block. Just good good schools, man. Just like well, growing up, it was a racist town next to us. Like it was a lot of racist folks that stayed in like the town. Like it was just a street over. That's how Chicago being on the grid is segregated. Like literally, when you cross the street, the whole neighborhood changes. Um, but ultimately, it was a really good neighborhood. Oak Park is a really dope spot. It's where I would like to settle down and retire one day, honestly. But I had a lot of good opportunities to be a kid and good educational system. So
Nice.
it was. I thank my parents for moving off of the west side of Chicago into Oak Park so that I could have such a wonderful upbringing. So
Nice.
kudos to my folks, man.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. It's cool. Back then, who did you like look up to, and who were you around mostly?
Were friends in the neighborhood, and I had two older sisters,
Okay.
so I got all of my musical influence from like my family, older sisters,
Okay.
mother and father. But then your neighbor or somebody at school might have something, put you on something. But
Right.
um, I mean, I looked up to anywhere it was a good message, man. It takes a village, so
Yeah.
as much as I had my parents, I had my sisters, I had good teachers, had folks from the neighborhood, even the old guy with the dirty hands at the corner store who would dig in the jar and get your gummy bears for you. He'd teach you something too. So
Right.
I kind of influences everywhere, but like musically,
Mm,
like KRS-One, Houdini, these are early influences, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
yeah.
I liked Hammer, I liked Kid and Play, but actually, I like, Rakim or, Redman. I had access to, just a lot of good music growing up. So, well, a lot of the greats, I'd say, all of the greats, um,
Oh yeah. Nice.
Michael Jackson, Prince's, had James Brown's,
Yeah.
um, but then, I had NWA, I had Eazy-E. Um, it was just a good mixture, if I do say so myself.
Yes. Nice. That's really cool. That's awesome, man. Thank you for that. How was school for you? It sounds like, from the sounds of it, well, actually, I'm not gonna jump to any assumptions. How was school for you?
School was a good place to learn how to start writing raps. Um, um, you know, school was well, we roasted each other a lot, so
Yeah.
it's part of the jokes. Having a good sense of humor, or it's part of where I get the four eyes from. You get made fun of a lot.
Right.
And my glasses were always huge. When I was a kid, I had a little head and some real big ass glasses. But school was good though. It was it was a good place to when you're amongst your peers, you get to really test your skills of your craft. So,
Right.
once when I started really emceeing, I started rapping in high school, I could tell, how good I was or wasn't by, the crowd reaction. It's what let me know I was on to something,
Yeah.
or to keep being witty and humorous with the bars because that's what grab people's attention the most. So school was always a good breeding ground for excellence, though.
Nice. Heck yeah. I like that. That's really cool, man. Who was the first rapper that you noticed that you were like, damn, this guy's got it going. This guy's gonna be a legend.
Um, at the time, and it's more, as we get older
Right.
and we mature, we have different expectations than we would when we're younger.
Right.
So, you heard Lord Have Mercy on Busta Rhymes' first album,
Yeah. Yep.
and you were like, oh man, this guy. Or, when you first heard AZ on Nas' Life's a Bitch,
Right.
it was just like, oh man, it's that guy. When's his album dropping? Can- Cannabis had a lot of that for me
Yep.
in the late '90s. Cannabis, his impact on the freestyle, mixtapes and um, you know, radio segments. Like it was just his punchline game, his lyricism. It was phenomenal. It was like he was like it was show stopping lyricism. So
Nice.
the anticipation around that or him per se is what we always look to recreate or that kind of when there's that type of electricity. um Big Pun even, um but it's just that level of shit. But those are some of the guys for me anyway.
Hell yeah. Nice. Oh yeah. Thank you. Um. And then I was gonna ask, what were some of your goals then? When you first started rapping, what were some of the goals you had for yourself in the rap game versus some of the goals you have now?
Oh man, it was real simple. Then I just didn't want to sell my soul, get caught up in taking advantage of by the music industry. Just wanted to really be heard. Didn't understand or know the value of a dollar, or the difference between licensing a record for 20, 30 years, and the branding associated with it. It was a totally different uh, game for me because music in the business, it is it's not a fine line, it's a strong line, like, but everyone gets caught up in the music and forgets about the business. So now it's just more business. um I much more business minded, but
Sure.
goal now wise is to yeah, do exactly that. Make more um um longer long game plays, like have longer shelf life, more a constant stability. Checks have certain shelf lives, that they peak, and then once things start to dwindle down, they have the up and down. So the goal is to just always make a multi-tier revenue system,
Nice.
from your branding associated with your brand. Not just one song, but the
Right.
quality of who you are as a person or artist. It makes anything you touch have value. So that's always the end game goal. So that whether it's a podcast, whether it's a TED talk, whether it's some merchandise, whether it's a car wash or a cleaner's business, whatever it is, because you have adequate business skills and proper money management skills, you know how to just keep a good business going. To be able to do that from any music that you do is always the goal, because the industry it could be fickle. So you always want to give yourself something else to allow you to be creative, so you don't got to compromise the art or the creativity for the business.
Yeah.
That's always the goal today. I wasn't thinking like that back in the day.
Oh yeah, man. That's one of the best answers I've ever heard, and it probably one of the best answers I'm ever gonna hear in my life.
Oh
To be perfectly
man,
honest. um.
appreciate it, man.
Oh, no problem. I mean, I was gonna say before, like, you seem like a really intelligent guy, and like you're a deep thinker, and so I thought it was gonna be interesting today to talk to you because I knew I was gonna get some really deep thought, and so because like just listen to your rhymes, I can tell you're very intelligent because nobody can put together bars like that 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 don't know something. You know what I mean? So
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. That makes me feel good.
yeah,
One, to know that you noticed or that people notice, and then two, it just lets me know I've been doing a good job, because I could always stand to be smarter, but it's nice to know um, that my parents' time and efforts didn't go to waste. They did a good job making sure that I got a decent education. So I do like to represent that as much as I possibly can.
nice. Yeah, hell yeah. Well, you definitely do, man. You definitely do. I mean, a guy can listen to one song from you and know, well, this guy's educated and smart and woke. Um,
Ah,
that's another thing. It's a lot of people just don't understand a lot of things or understand a lot of the things today. And well, I'm gonna get into a little bit more of the stuff of today a little later in this, but one thing I wanted to ask you for sure. I had to ask you this no matter if I didn't get to ask you much else, I had to ask you this. What gave you the idea for like the hats and the costumes and shit when you're doing like the Instagram freestyles and stuff, and you wear the different
Oh,
outfits in there? Because I love it. I think it's super cool. I love like what's he gonna wear next? All right, what beats he gonna have? What cadence? What kind of bars is he gonna have? And it all works together, and I love it.
hey, appreciate it, man. When I first started doing my Instagram post, I was doing them a lot more frequent. So it started off like some semi normal, but then as time went on, you start to experiment or you start to want to, push the envelope, or just even express yourself. So I've always been a character. I love characters, wrestling, GI Joes, Transformers, superheroes, comic books, all that good stuff. So um, once I uh, s- just started going with one thing, it just I just I didn't limit myself when it came to it. So I might have on a cowboy hat this day and then an astronaut hat the next day. It all makes for good showmanship when it comes down to a performance. We get that from Michael Jackson's glove and jacket to Prince's uh, guitar and motorcycle. James Brown, like everyone, all the big performers have their expressions. So it's a part of just that character showing that personality that comes across in some of the outfits sometimes. But yeah, I always get encouragement to keep going and keep, I can't dress up regular and just fit a verse no more. It's like I have to do something now. So that encourages me to keep pushing the envelope as far as the creativity visually. And that's really all it's about.
Awesome, dude. That's super dope. It's like it's cool because like even the things that you post on Instagram are honing your skills, even though you're kicking it and showing us like, damn, watch my skills. But at the same time, you're sharpening yourself, boosting your creativity by, like you said, trying to even think of a new outfit each time, and you come up with some crazy shit sometimes, and I'm like, wow, how do you think that? It's like you said, it could literally be one day a cowboy and literally the next day an astronaut. So, like, you weren't
Yeah.
exaggerating. We're talking. I guarantee I've seen a cowboy and an astronaut before with you dressing up. Um, let's name. You don't gotta like make a top five or anything, but what are some of the best albums? What are some of the best rap albums that were made? Do you think?
Shirt tails. It's always gonna be Nas, Illmatic. Um, and this isn't in particular like I
Right.
just
Yeah.
uh
No order or nothing. Just
um I mean I'll say only built for Cuban links,
yeah.
Raekwon,
Rick
but
One.
man, and then the Wu Tang is still just they got a lot, uh and then it's almost a time period even fair. um Hard to Earn or Moment of Truth for Gangstar. um it's Midnight Marauders for Tribe, or even I like Beats Rhymes and Life, Common Sense, Resurrection album. um it's like that should be at least five. The Prince Purple Rain, the Purple Rain soundtrack is an amazing album. uh um uh Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is an amazing album. Um, yeah, I can. It's. it's a lot of good music out there, but that's at least five right there. I know for sure. With variety to let you know my range. I like a lot of music, man. Just music is music.
Hell yeah. Nice. That
Yeah.
actually answers another question I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if you're into other genres of music and stuff. I assume that you were, but I don't like to just say yeah, and assume it. So yeah, that's cool. Is there any rappers like any of the new school rappers of today that you're into at all, or
Shit. I like RJ Payne is, and I'm just as far as current. Who else? Some of the Griselda guys, like I fuck with Benny. Um, um, who else? It's some new dudes. I don't want to take Coles and Kendricks. Um, but shit, I'll be stuck in the old school era. I listen to a lot of just the older stuff
yep,
often. But then, when something crosses my plate or comes across my radar, I always, jump on it, especially if it grabs me.
right,
Um, and then it's a lot of just underground dudes like that I always, whether it's locally here in Atlanta or just somewhere like I like La Russell. I like La Russell
nice,
out of the Bay.
yeah,
And it's a lot of cats, man. That's really really dope. It's just when I get put on the spot, it's like, damn, I'll be trying. I should have made notes. I knew they was gonna ask me this question, but it's bunch of it's a lot of new talent per
right.
se, newer artists that still make me feel good about the direction of hip hop.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I end up listening to, actually, all of it is underground, and that's there's a lot of real talented dudes that are underground. Otherwise, it's the classic shit for me too, because the stuff that they got mainstream, I don't know what that is anymore. So,
Right. And music is always socially. It's always really most products are geared toward the youth,
yes,
and music in particular as a product is always geared toward the youth. So
right,
you know,
and
as we get older and mature,
right,
we have different things that should interest us, that should,
yeah,
our attention.
right,
Yes, and a lot of the current, it's all about, the younger spending and doing irresponsible consumer things,
right,
as opposed to being more mindful and conscious, socially aware. The
right,
big corporations don't benefit from everybody being socially aware. So,
right,
the goal is to, especially from a mainstream, pushing what's in mainstream, is to help lull people to sleep or keep them asleep, not wake them up.
right.
So it's you're not supposed to know what anything new mainstream is. It's not your frequency anymore.
Right. Right. Wow. Those are some great answers. Wow. I'm really getting some great answers out of this. And like and like I said earlier, I knew I would because I know you're a pretty intelligent, not pretty, you're a very intelligent guy. So I knew I was gonna get some very interesting, very well thought out answers, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, if you what would you if you could pick any rappers to go in the booth with you, just you don't gotta actually live or dead, if you could pick any rappers to do a few features with, who would you pick?
Shit. Black Thought would be awesome.
Yes.
Um, I really like Immortal Technique.
Yeah.
Um, 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 Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Um, what else? I still KRS One, still Redman, Method Man. Um, who else? I mean that's a good couple. I mean I fuck with Eminem.
Yeah,
Like Eminem is a good lyrically. And then just creatively,
right.
he zones out the and in a real good way. So just to be able to have that freedom or range to just go there is always dope.
Right.
Um,
I would love to hear you
um,
on a feature with all them guys. Get a feature. Let's anybody watching this, if you can, let's make this happen. We need four eyes on features with all of these cats. Yeah,
I
I think that'd be
appreciate it.
dope ass songs for real.
We just spoke it in. We spoke it into the ether. So
Yeah.
AWA has heard us. So it's just a matter of it coming to pass now. But yeah, man, appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. What do you like to do when you're not in the booth? I know you spend a lot of your time, on the microphone. What do you like to do when you're not kicking rhymes?
Shit, studying to kick some rhymes. I'm a movie guy. But documentaries, listening to good YouTube videos or some good motivational speaking folks, philosophical speaking folks, elevated consciousness speaking folks. Um, just absorbing, kind of sponging up stuff. Might grab a bar. I like basketball, but grab a drink at the bar, watch a game.
Yeah,
Go to a rap show or some artsy things. I got a lot of artsy friends here in the metropolitan community. Go bowling. Normal stuff.
nice.
I introvert pretty good though. So I could just I just sit home and read a book, man. Um,
Nice. Hey,
read a good book on growing and developing one's emotions and feelings.
hey,
That's it. That's always a good skill to have.
right.
to
Nothing wrong with
have
that.
to be in control of one's feelings and emotions. It's quite a overlooked skill.
Right,
So
right. I agree.
yeah, man.
I totally agree. Um, what uh, what gives you the drive and the motivation to because you not I'll be blunt. A lot of artists, after even just by the time they put out like two albums worth of songs, by the time they've made about 20, 30 songs, just by their second album, maybe their third, if they're really a good artist. Most of the time, it seems like their music is just kind of after that. I've never heard even one of your songs lacking in any department. So, what gives you that motivation and drive to always be on top of your pen game like that?
Hey man, appreciate that, man. I'll say a little bit of stubbornness, and then how I was raised as far as it like line for line was a thing growing up. Like when I listen to when I look at anything, I'm looking for the most impactful moments or the most exciting, like the action sequences. I'm looking for, the like the dopest part of everything, and that's how I like to write. Like every line is a fast break opportunity, and like I want 360, I want to windmill, I want to jump over a cheerleader, I want to do the crazy shit while I know I'm watching like my chance to score. And I always look at every rap line, every verse as an opportunity, like to have a fast break.
Yeah,
Um, so there's that side of it. And then because I grew up amongst so many greats, the greatest of comedy, the greatest of hip hop, the greatest in R&B, um, whatever. I know the showmanship from Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage, or the showmanship from a Run DMC, and a Grandmaster Flash from the Furious Five. Like just to see what goes into the production of hip hop visually, or understanding what goes into a comedian, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, George Carlin, when they make their jokes. What goes into making every joke funny or every line grabbing.
Right.
Yeah, I even called it, like, I was Chicago, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has a fast break, or when he knows that people are watching him, so he's going to put on the best performance. It's like, I know I'm going to be heard, so I want to put on the best performance verbally
And
that's going to, speak in my absence when I'm not in the room. And I'm always looking for the wow factor, and there are moments where I feel like I didn't wow enough, and I don't like to take plays off. So I appreciate you for just saying that, every song, or that you notice the quality of that goes into the work, and I just want to say thanks, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, absolutely. I just want to let you know I don't say stuff to people just to, because they're on my show or to blow smoke. And the whole reason I wanted you on the show is because you're a living legend, and and when I listen to your raps, I never hear any of them lack. So I just want you to know I mean all of that from the absolute, like, literally. So um, what would you what do you think needs to happen with the over too much power with the police department these days? Like, I'm sure you heard of seen the whole Tyre Nichols murder within the last
Mm-hmm.
week. It made me sick. I cried about it. I mean, I'm not shocked by it because I mean we come to expect shit like this from that notorious gang called the police, but like, why? Like, it still makes me just feel awful at the guys, screaming for his mom like that, and and then they crack jokes after. Like, what? How? I mean, what are some steps we should take as society, even to? I don't know. I figured this is a good thing we could talk about.
Shit. Yeah, it's definitely something that we should address with every opportunity and use every platform too. That's one of the other functions of hip hop,
Yeah.
and at least that's how it was when I was growing up. Is that
Yes.
you would use the platform to address issues that we otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to address, or be able to shine light on situations and issues that need major attention. And police reform is definitely one of them, but that's still a branch of a tree.
Yes.
And ultimately, to get to the root of the problem, so that we're not putting a band-aid on a broke leg, because ultimately they are still, the police system is operating the way it was intended for it to be. If you do your history, and
Right.
people don't really do the history of something to make a legitimate analysis of why it exists at the state that it exists at. And in this case, most things in this country are functioning the way that they are for the purpose or benefit that it was intended. It's just we, meaning most people who look like me, or people of your, economic status per se,
Right.
poor people and brown people, were, are not. The system can be in favor, like America can be in favor of them, but it wasn't. It's not. The system of structure in place ain't set up to give away nothing.
No.
Whatever is required needs to be taken. And in this case, um, we ultimately would need to, you know, in order for something to change, the thinking of it has to change.
Yeah.
Like, because a person won't change unless they are thinking change, and unless they want to change. You could put change. You could change my whole outfit. You could change where I hang out and where I eat. But if I'm not changed up here mentally, I'm going to go back to, or start to reflect the same behavior that we assumed was changed because I changed my hoodie, I changed my hat,
Right.
and um, so police reform, it's major systemic change. It's not just, put somebody else in charge change. It's like redefine what uh what policing in today's time really is. And it goes all the way up the ladder. Politics, religion, it's all, everything needs to be reevaluated because, certain shit gets outdated. If a phone gets outdated because it was designed to be that way,
Yep.
so somebody could profit. If a car gets outdated or clothing styles get outdated because it was designed so somebody could profit
Right.
from you having to resubscribe or update, then there's certain institutions that in the educational system, religious system, political system, legal system, they need to be reevaluated so they could be updated. I
Yeah.
don't have all the answers, but I definitely can point out where would be a good place to start. And
Yes.
it's always with the root. Um,
Yes.
it's always with the root.
Pull it up right by the root. I love it. You gotta.
Yeah.
And yep.
Yeah, man.
Like you said, and like you said, it goes all the way up the ladder. It needs to just get pulled right out by the root and something new started. Because I don't
Yeah.
I
Got to
like you
plan a
said.
whole nother.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Oh no, I was saying we got to plant some new seeds, man. Get some new trees because all we dealing with is the fruit from a tree from a seed that was planted, and we gonna keep moving the fruit around, but it's like no, it's the tree, and that's where it's like we got to
Yes.
uproot the system and start anew. And until we can really do that, we just we just bullshitting ourselves.
Yes. Yes, dude, that was a perfect analogy with the tree and the root. It's it, dude. It's saying, well, it's people just moving the fruit around when no matter what fruit comes from that damn tree is gonna be bad. It's all poison.
Yep.
So quit screwing with the fruit and just cut that. Don't even waste your time cutting it down. Pull it up by the root and plant new ones. Yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
What they I understand that may not be an easy process, but it is the needed process. It is what has to happen to really make any headway on this issue
Right.
because, like, it's. Because, see, people only think about racist police officers, but what about racist teachers? What about racist doctors? What about
Yes.
racist judges and lawyers? There's so many other institutions where the racism exists to where it's like we're not just talking about like cool it'd be nice if the police wasn't, but it's still that behavior is the root, is the tree that exists in so many other systems. It's like we got to get that out
Right.
before we could really make a difference. Like even if we said we fixed the police, and that's still an illusion because the police is just a branch, like I said, from the tree,
Yes.
and that 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 energy still exists in so many other areas of human relation.
Right. Yes. Oh my God. Exactly. That's some of the best stuff like that. That's exactly what needs to happen, and you are right on. Like you know, I don't know that you don't have all the answers when it comes to that. Because once you do that, if we start over with the whole new shit, I mean that. Hey, problem solved. I wouldn't say problem solved, but when it comes to the way they enforce and that stuff, yeah, problem solved. But like you said, there's still gonna be problems in other areas, other racist entities, and look at all the racist parents out there teaching their kids all this BS, and it's like trying to fight an idea. It's like, man, but I wish I could just do away with it, and put them all on an island somewhere and be like, all right, you guys love yourselves so much, and you gotta go be with yourselves and just yourselves. Do it up if you want. Here you
You,
go.
as much as I like to give everybody the room they need to be who they are, that's the same freedom I would like to have. It's just the freedom to be unencumbered by, any ridiculous Travis mockeries.
Right.
Um, yeah, I just, we get to be stronger souls because of it. That's the best way to look at it. We get to strengthen our resolve and our patience. And that's where the love comes in. What the love involves fighting sometimes, but at the same time, the the love of tolerating to a degree. I don't just be tolerating any old thing, but
Right.
um, a lot of times, ooh, shit, yeah, man, it's always a tough one because it
Right.
takes honesty, and most racists aren't honest unless they are honest, and we start talking about uh genetic annihilation, and then that's like a whole nother conversation that I wasn't really ready to dive into. But that is always the problem: is someone's fear of being genetically annihilated. So provisions exist
Right.
so that somebody can have the upper hand or the advantage that they otherwise would not have. But yeah, man. Put them all on the island, sure.
Yeah.
But they would get off the island, man. They would get off the island.
Well, we'd have to put in a big electric fence around it, up and down, and it'd be
And
a whole
see,
thing.
that's not the true
Right.
definition of a utopian
No.
society.
I was gonna say, but then
Like,
again, I can't hold somebody hostage on an island either. We gotta figure out something else to do.
yep,
But damn it,
because yeah, whatever we allow, we invite.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
don't want to allow somebody else to be held against their will, so you can feel safe, because then you invite somebody to do it to you for.
wow.
So it has to be a more diplomatic way to get to a utopian society. Like,
Right?
we can't live in a perfect society by locking somebody away on an island,
No.
or it has to be just understood. There has to be a common ground of understanding, to where it's just, look, we just don't run around and just kill people. We just don't run around and rape people. We just don't run around and steal from each other. We just don't,
Right.
you know,
Hurt people.
just yeah. But this is a common understanding that existed in a simpler time.
Right.
As things
Right.
more as things have become more complicated, so has the logic, or the yeah, people want to own land and things like that. That's not ownable. You don't
Right.
when you introduce the concept of owning land to a people who live off the land and have no concept of owning it, like they feel like they belong to the land, then you're always gonna have people butting heads with each other.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah. That's man. That was. I'm gonna be thinking about this later on, going over this stuff. You gave me some real good answers on that, and real good stuff for the people to hear too. That's why I asked that stuff, because I believe people need to hear this stuff, and that was some real good shit that you said, for real. Um, here's a little bit of a shift in gears. What has hip hop done for you positively?
Wait, say that one more time. You was breaking up. What is hip hop?
What has hip hop done for you positively?
Oh man, just the way that we're able to have this whole conversation right now is based off of hip hop, or the culture itself. Not the act of rapping, but hip hop as a culture. You know, sure, it's got its ups and its downs, but ultimately it was the platform or vehicle that was um, used to give me so many different viewpoints on life, or to get me to music has the power to uplift and inspire, which is why the spirit of the hip hop has been hijacked and turned into some, a parody. This is the shit we used to joke about growing up in the 90s. And now all music is like that because that was intentionally done to upset the power struggle that exists, between the people and corporations,
Right.
and something that was for the people and a way to deliver information and a vehicle to just to inspire and encourage. It's been hijacked and turned into something else, so where it doesn't do that. Like Like I've never done crack cocaine. It's like not even an option. It's not an option for me to have done crack because I grew up in a time where they made fun of you in the music that I listened to for doing crack. They told all of the stories about the bad person and not that they were spiritually or morally bad, but
Right.
just bad decisions were made because of the addiction to crack.
Right.
I've heard numerous stories. I've seen numerous movies. I grew up in an era where people spoke out against
Yes.
crack cocaine addiction.
Right.
Now it's like I have yet to hear a song. I have yet to see a group of brothers get together and make a song about anti-lean, anti-prescription pills, anti, you know, j- anti that epidemic, of just heavily, just like way heavily. It'd be different if it was, but we do everything in excess. So we don't just smoke little joints. We smoke big ass blunt.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're gonna drink a cup of lean, it's a big ass cup of lean. If you're gonna do some pills, it's a whole bunch of pills.
Right.
Um, and but once again, the music that I grew up on helped me to have knowledge of self, like Wu Tang Clan or KRS-One, or people who use their platform to speak highly of people who look like me, people who I felt like came from a similar background or had the same struggles. They encouraged me to persevere, um, and to have dignity while going through the struggle and not, sacrifice my integrity for material gain. Um,
Yes.
that's what I learned from music growing up, or at least that's what I thought that I learned. And I don't feel that same message. Um, I'm not saying that there's not artists who don't have that message, but the opportunity, like you can clearly see mainstream is not pumping, pushing, or promoting that. Um, they don't want that to be the norm.
Right.
They don't want that to be the mainstream. So
Right.
hip hop has done wonders for me, um, just morally, spiritually, um, and I'm that's why I probably go as hard as I go, or I stick to my guns the way I do, when it comes to music, and what I value or what I put in my music and want to put out. So, um, the more we give, the more we get. And for what hip hop has given me, I can't give back a bunch of,
Yes.
uh, you know, just low vibrational music, low frequency stuff. I understand there's a place for it, but I just can't. I can't overdo it. I always want to, you know, and there's so much of it being done. I want to upset the balance, or bring balance to it. So we got to overcompensate, if you will.
Right.
But hip hop is, yeah, hip hop is life saving, man. And they
Yeah.
knew it saved people's lives, which is why they hijacked it, and now it's it's doing the opposite of saving lives. It's not saving as many lives. Let's just say that.
Right. Right. Because how what I don't understand, like with, like you said, the low frequency stuff, how anybody could listen and be like, man, that really changed, that sparked something in me, that changed me, or boy, I was really depressed, and this got me through it. I don't hear the substance enough in it to be able to do that. So I'm wondering, is there a whole generation of kids that ain't getting the music that at all, like how I got, where I was like, man, this got me through all my hard times growing up, was having a Walkman and putting in my tapes and listening or putting in my CDs, and like, man, that got me through the hard times. So
You know,
that
but and now, the music will get them through the hard times, but we got to come out. How you gonna be when you come out? That's the thing.
yes,
And when it's substance in the music, when there's like a moral to the story or something to grow and help you develop, when people are honest and you can see, oh, they honestly made mistakes. I'm going down the same road, or let me change my course. Let me do something different. Then that's where the true value is in it. But yeah, no, I don't necessarily, you know, I just understand that's not being sold at the same rate that the party fun, excessive usage of drugs and explicit sex is just being sold. It's just not being sold at the same rate. But
right,
once again, I guess that's just business.
right, right. Um, what do you think about all the social media? And do you think that kids are getting introduced to it at a way too young an age?
Yeah, somebody brought up. Oh, it was Kanye. Kanye was talking about how difficult it used to be for us to sneak into the porn section at a video store
Right,
because it was all sectioned off and you had to be 18, and
right,
if you snuck in you might not be able to this, that, and the third come back in anymore.
right,
It's just the amount. Everything is access. We
right,
have more access. People have more access to everything.
right,
So the more access we have to everything, the more, um, which is a good thing from a cut out the middleman standpoint. But then at the
yes,
same time, um, if you didn't want somebody to get access to something, because I mean, even information for us from a conspiracy theorist standpoint, all this information is great. You know, they the more information we have, the more informed we can be, the more we can make sound decisions if we have the ability to use critical thinking as an individual. Um, but if everybody ain't thinking like individuals because we all scared of not being a part of the group, then that's when the big group think comes in and everybody gonna move like sheep.
yep,
And that's what the other part of, that's what social media does on a grand scale to the, you know, like they always say, oh, well, the music doesn't make a kid do this or that,
right,
and their parents are supposed to, teach them the difference between right and wrong. And it's like true, but if their parents aren't around or the parents aren't the best with teaching right and wrong, then the music does have the ability to have a higher influence over the individual based on the content. So if the video games, if the music, if the movies, if the magazines, if the social media, if everything has a negative or unchaperoned, uh, yeah, if everything's just getting through, if there's no filter, then
right.
um,
Not good.
yeah, everybody don't deserve a comment, man. Everybody don't like.
Yes,
It's nice that everybody can comment, but everybody don't deserve a comment.
yes,
And because everybody has the opportunity or the right to comment, they feel entitled with that comment
yep,
as if somebody posting on their page owes them something.
right.
And I don't like how you holding that animal right there. You should, not hold animals when you. And it's like, yo, I didn't need that comment. Like that was just
Right.
like, sure, that's an option, but that doesn't like why. Why did that have to be the comment?
Right,
So,
right.
um, and then social engineering is the real thing that exists, where people sit in a
Yes,
room and figure out what collectively they want to have happen, so that
yeah,
the people are more docile and easily uh, able to be manipulated.
yes,
And social media helps play on certain psychological aspects of acceptance within a society or within a community or a group. And it's it it just could be manipulated. But there's also advantages to. Hey man, it's disadvantages to guns and it's advantages to guns. That's all I can say.
right, right. It's got its place, and it's good for some things, but too much of it is definitely a bad thing. I think it's like it's good in a way. It's like, all right, social media did this. It got this set up because years ago I would have had no way to get a hold of legendary rappers that I listened to. I like there would have been no way of trying to get a hold of Four Eyes to do an interview. Which, oh, by the way, this is my son Ian. Ian, this is the legendary Four Eyes. He just got home from school. He wanted to meet you.
What up, Ian? How's it going, bro?
Good.
You what? You been terrorizing the schools all day? What you a senior out here? You terrorizing high schools, getting ready for prom?
What?
Talk about tell him how
Yeah.
old you are.
I'm 13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's a good age to start rapping. That's a good age to start rapping.
He can dance too. He's
I
never
was
been
just about
taught,
to say, and
but he
break
just
dancing. And
dance though. This kid. I try to encourage him, but he don't want to do it more. Like, well, maybe he will, but my one homeboy wants to put him in some of his music videos. And you want to do it now? All right, yeah, you better do it because that's some good exposure for you, and you could get around other people that do that and could teach you more too. Heck yeah.
yeah, yeah, kids don't necessarily like coming out of their comfort zone. So that's
Right.
a parent's job is to put them in arenas where they can experience different things. Cause
Yes.
and yeah, trust me, I'm definitely familiar with like, no, why would I want to do that?
Right.
But it's like, no, you appreciate those opportunities when
Right.
you grow up, and then you never know who you're gonna meet, man. It change your
Right.
life, man. Those are big things, also, man. Teamwork makes the dream work, man. You meet your next business partner, then y'all go open up the new smoothie store with the best smoothies in America, and then you super franchise, mega multi mogul. Yeah, man. Possibilities are endless, man. But the whole point is you got to do stuff. You got
Yeah.
to do stuff.
Gotta. Gotta. And like I like what you said that summed it up the best is doing something, getting out of your comfort zone. Because it's one thing to just go do things you like doing and you're comfortable with, but to do something you're not comfortable with, and even in front of people, that's going to help you more than you know. And take it from a man that is a legendary rapper and performer who performs in front of people. He knows. Trust me, he knows. He knows better than me. So that's some of the best
So I
advice I
mean,
could have got. Um, I've heard
boy,
you say
yes,
before
sir.
or earlier, and I've heard you say before stuff about like artists selling their soul, to get where they're at. Um, Now I believe some of them do it figuratively, and I believe some of them literally sign up on the dot and sell their soul. Um, do you think the same thing as me?
Well, once again, it's like aliens and shit.
Right.
I believe it's something out there, but I ain't never seen. I cannot confirm nor deny the existence of said extraterrestrials, but from my understanding, they out there. You know.
Right.
So in this case, whether it's something you could do that's the equivalent of selling your soul, like metaphorically, or there is the actual
Right.
signing over one's soul in the
Right.
highest form of spiritual,
Yeah.
uh like, I mean, I would just call that dark arts, man,
Yeah.
because
Black magic,
souls.
dark arts,
Yeah, walking
Kabbalah.
around holding. Yeah, if you walk around holding somebody's souls, that sounds like some extra.
Right.
That yeah, I think. I'm the impression everybody keeps their own soul, but you know, if somebody's got souls, then that's extra.
Right.
That's extra. Um, so I'm not saying, yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm definitely sure people have metaphorically sold their soul, like, you know, like, oh, doing that was the equivalent of selling your soul, or it's
Right.
like, you know, but then in the further, deeper, darker sense, sure, why not? Um, I'm still not, I'm still not sure that we, like, in the purest sense, like, my soul ain't even mine. Like, like I have it,
Right.
but it don't belong to me. It
Right.
belongs to where I got it from.
Right.
I'm just rocking it, you know, gathering information and data, and then I got to take this information and data back
Yep.
and return this this soul. So that's how I look at it. But what up, Bob? But that's just me. Um,
Right.
yeah. Um, you know, because I don't like to speculate as much as I like to speculate.
Sure.
You know, I don't like to
Right.
speculate publicly and then, you know, sound like a crazy person when, you know, you just can't go and judge Judy just saying any old motherfucking thing. Like you gotta be able to back it up
Right.
or you know, have something to make it uh uh make a plausible argument with it.
Right.
And in this case, there is historically enough to validate what you're talking about.
Right.
And then at the same time, uh,
Love it.
the industry alone, the stories, if you like, there's a long paper trail that looks like the equivalent of people selling their soul in one way, shape, or another. So,
Right.
you know, however you dice it, there's something at work, there's something at play, there's some type of sacrifice, quote unquote, that is made for the acquisition of fame or
Yes.
fortune.
Right. Yep. You perfectly said. Perfectly said. I just got a couple more little questions here for you, and we'll probably wrap it up after that. What uh if you could change anything in the world, what would you change?
Myself, it's the only thing that anyone should focus on changing.
That's
Anything, anything more than that is, there's a word for it. I'm not going to necessarily say what it is though, but that's just how I view, uh, because there's a plan or a purpose, although random and uncontrollable as it may seem, that a lot of stuff is happening because it's the direct result of something else that's happening. So the whole dilemma of going back in time is if you change something, then something is going to be affected by that change, that butterfly effect of, um, you know, the repercussion of, like, if I change something, then maybe I'm not the dope MC that I am now because I needed that to be the dope MC. No matter how painstaking or arduous that moment may have been or appears, there's something that comes from it. So when we make changes, we have to be mindful of everything that will change as a direct result of that change. So
yes.
the only thing logically, and this is a Dr. Spock answer, the only way logically to answer that question is to say myself. I change the way I think, I change the way I operate or do anything, and that changes my reality. Because that's, to try and change somebody else's reality is also selfish. Um, so the the main thing is any change would be with me, how I think, how I process something, so that I could just make a better decision moving forward. Um, come to a conclusion sooner than I need to. Save me a life cycle as opposed to coming back to learn something through reincarnation because I didn't learn it this time to evolve my thinking faster than. See, once again, do you want to overdevelop something faster than it's supposed to develop, or you let it? You don't.
Right.
A premature baby is a premature baby. That's why that motherfucker sit in there for 9 months because of what it need to obtain from that cycle. If you rush the baby, like I'll bring him out in 6 months. Like, nah, that's not healthy. And so I always think about shit like that when it comes to change. Um, and I just think about because any change that we make is going to be done right now. So just making the most of the present moment uh, is always the goal. Also,
Right.
um, so to go back in time would just to make the most of whatever present moment I was in, and I don't got to go back in time to do that.
Right.
Or just to change anything. It's just gonna be with me because uh, Michael Jackson said it best, man. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. There's
Yeah.
no place else to start. There's no place else that anyone should start.
Yes. Yes.
Always the man in the mirror. So,
Yes. That is awesome. That is awesome. Um, what would you like to tell the fans about? Is there what would you like everybody to know about you?
oh man, if it's one thing y'all need to know about me in particular is that one, God is great than a motherfucker, and two, I just put out a mixtape called Frame Lord a couple of days before Christmas, and I need all y'all to go to my Bandcamp page, Four Eyes Bandcamp, whatever that is in the search engine, and get that hoe. That thing is $1 or your best offer. It is at least $1 or whatever you feel like it deserves. It's 19 tracks filled with hip hop, golden era, uh, lyrical barry goodness,
I'm
and
gonna go get it. I'm gonna
I'm
go get it.
I'm com- I'm convinced that everybody will be thoroughly impressed with it. And then once again, it's just a buck. It's 4 quarters. I would love to get a music away. In which this is pretty much basically a giveaway. This is
It
the
is.
2023 Four Eyes giveaway. Before I get ready to drop my Valentine's Day album, I got a whole album dedicated to this woman that I love, and I'm gonna
Woo.
drop that whole album on Valentine's Day. But yeah, before we get to all the mushy cake stuff, I got super man masculine uh beastly barbarian activity on this mixtape. It's called Frame Lord. It's just a buck. It's on my Bandcamp page. It's only on my Bandcamp page. I ain't really rocking with the streaming for this project like that. Yeah, man, y'all enjoy that, and I believe that is the best thing I could tell y'all about myself before concluding this wonderful interview that I've had with you, my good sir Vaughn.
Hey, well, thank you, man. And I'm gonna go get that motherfucker right when we get off here. I'm gonna go get it because I
No,
need it. And I always want to support the artists that I listen to. I think it's important. Everybody watching, everybody who ends up watching this, man, support your artists. If you listen to an artist and you like their music, when they drop an album, go buy it. They're like, this shit can't be done for free. It costs the artist money to do. It costs at the very least time, which also costs money. So I mean,
yeah,
and a lot of guys nowadays they put stuff they have to do it like they put it together themselves, or they have people they know do it with them, or even if they actually hire a studio and some people, no matter what, it's all time and money. So people go buy the albums, please. Just like I'm gonna go buy this album you just told us about. Support your artists. They just if you listen to them, then you believe they deserve what's coming to them, and it's not like you're doing them a favor. If you listen to their music, you owe it to them to pay. If a man doesn't work, he should get paid for the work he does. That's the way
right.
I look at it.
And
And I appreciate the
Appreciate
work
that,
you
man.
do, and I love your music. So I think you deserve every penny and much more than that. So yeah, man, I encourage everybody to go out there and support their artists that they love and support this artist. He's one of the legendary rappers out there. He's a living fucking walking legend, straight up.
Oh, man. Appreciate that, bro, man. Thank you for having me on, man. I look forward to coming back on here when I shit
Anytime.
after I drop the next album. Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you drop, man, you can come on here. We'll kick it off, and we'll go over some tracks and shit, and break down some lyrics, and I'll do some reviews too. Hell yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, man.
And thank you for coming on to the Honor Show. It's been an honor to have you, man.
Hey, the pleasure was all mine, man. Be safe. Have a good one. Tell Ian I said rock on, and don't be afraid to dance in the videos, man. He got the moves in him. I already seen it in his eyes. He just gotta come out that comfort zone. He got it.
Hey, I will. I'll have him watch this part of the video. Thanks, brother. God bless you.
Yeah, man. God bless you too, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Peace.
Peace. And now you guys can actually help me out.
You gotta help me.
Hey, all you gotta do is hit that like button. And so you never miss any future episodes, hit that subscribe button along with that little notification bell.